My name is Rachel Mauser, and I am an artist living and working in Louisville, Kentucky. I also run a community arts nonprofit there. My primary medium is bookbinding, but I love working in lots of different media, including screen printing and painting and metalsmithing. Bookbinding is a lot of different things. So bookbinding can manifest as an artist book, which is like a book that you kind of put your own content in, you put your own imagery, text, sculpture, however you want to make it. And then there's also blank books or journals, just a hand-bound, a crafted object that's more just like a craft object. Essentially, bookbinding is the act of creating and binding your own book. So sometimes that includes paper making, sometimes that includes print making, because when you think about what goes into the book, you have to fill up those pages somehow if you're making an artist book. So printmaking is a great method for that. Also drawing, letterpress printing, painting. I'm really drawn to bookbinding because it's so interdisciplinary. I am one of those people that can't exactly ever decide what I want to do. And in bookbinding, I can do lots of different things. So I can have metalsmithing in my books, I can have textiles in my books, or painting in my books, all sorts of things. So I love how flexible the process is, and I love how the definition of a book can be so broad or narrow, depending on how you look at it. The way that I like to make art is by kind of breaking it down. So I like thinking of my idea first, and I like doing a ton of different sketches all about that same idea. And then from there, I kind of like narrow it down and figure out exactly what idea I'm most excited about. And then when I'm making books, I like to think about how can the form of my book talk about the content. So how can it all work together, the text, the form, and the imagery to all speak of the same thing. I'm really drawn to the natural world, and I'm drawn to the color palette that's in the natural world, so the colors of like lichen and moss and things like that. But I use nature as a reference to speak of the human experience. In addition to my bookbinding, I run, co-direct, and started a community arts nonprofit in the Smoketown neighborhood of Louisville. And it is a primarily youth-based arts organization, and the youth work with us to kind of create their own sort of programming. So we do a lot of screen printing, we do a lot of bookbinding, mural painting, things that youth can do to help themselves feel empowered and to also become leaders in their community.